Hello, and welcome to the channel. This is part 2 of weapons that you can discover in the Atomic Heart video game. The Fox. The Fox may lack agility and grace, but it's capable of turning any location where there are enemies into a smashed-up henhouse. Due to a failure in the neural network's matrix, the Fox has ended up with a piece of finely sharpened aircraft propeller made from a tempered P4 alloy as its blade. It must be said, however, that the weapon's handle isn't all that sturdy, but a true connoisseur of melee combat can quickly eliminate this shortcoming using Nora repairing vendors. In conclusion, the Fox is entirely capable of becoming one of the most dangerous hunters in the facility's ecosystem. Pashtet. If you were to try spreading something on a piece of bread using this, let's call it a knife, then you definitely wouldn't end up with a delicacy. The Pashtet makes you think more about the need to observe health and safety standards than about light snacks. It would appear that its broad blade, which can cut through flesh, metal and composite alloys with equal ease, couldn't be improved upon. However, perfection has no limits. You just need to strengthen the handle and you'll have in your hands a simple but incredibly effective weapon against any foe, and there are plenty of upgrades for the Pashtet. Snowball. In winter, the less well-brought-up children in Leningrad have a mischievous tradition, putting actual rocks into snowballs in order to take the neighbour kids out of the game for a long time. If you increase the effect of these rocks by about 1,000 times, you get the Snowball. It's a huge, pile-driving hammer that is capable of driving a railway spike into the ground or an enemy into a deep coma in just one hit. It's especially effective against groups of enemies who risk coming too close to the weapon's wielder. Its mace-like construction, which was literally taken from the pages of a history book about the Middle Ages, has been successfully fused with a polymeric alloy, turning the Snowball into the perfect weapon for a true battle on the ice. It'd be interesting to glance through the pages of the Deimos's network that the damaged Collective 1.0 used as its instructions when assembling this weapon. Zvezdochka. It's rather difficult to figure out at this point precisely what kind of weapon they had in mind when assembling this monster. It's patently obvious that the damaged neural network must have been trying really hard to please its user by adding everything that it deemed necessary to this weapon. The result was the Collective 1.0's Swiss Army knife. It's a heavy beast that was assembled from a drive shaft and some circular saws. The motor, which is mounted to the handle, makes the sharp saw discs spin. You could find hundreds of circumstantial uses for this monster, but the weapon handles its main job: eliminating enemies exceptionally well. Electro. The Electro is a descendant of one of the first projects of Facility 3826's Calamy Design Department, a project that was based on energy pulses. Soon after spaceships had left Earth's surface and taken humanity into a new era of conquering the expanses of space, it became clear that the space race would sooner or later lead to people encountering completely new territory. Thus, engineers were faced with the task of creating a non-lethal, recoilless weapon for astronauts to defend themselves with, and that could also efficiently take out the sensitive electronics in enemy spacesuits. Swede. Olaf Solve was a Swedish lumberjack, turned fireman who moved to the USA and became a well-known lifesaver. He was part of the team who extinguished the legendary gas fire in Erta Bulak, where jets of flame soared 300 meters into the air. And he has nothing to do with this weapon. It's possible that the damaged neural network named this monster the Swede after Olaf, but you won't want to be trying to save people when you've got this weapon in your hands. On the contrary, this fire axe was clearly created for one purpose only: extinguishing people. This is the end of the second part of the weapon description in the game Atomic Heart. I hope you have learned something new and will play with a special interest. Thanks for listening, and good luck